president of Omaha Atheists.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I am a minority in a majority of ways. Welcome to Minorities Matter, Mr. Mayor, or as I like to call it, the Kindig Shindig. We are here today because of comments made by Mayor Kindig to one of his constituents. After the Faith and Freedom Memorial Day service, Robert Fowler saw the mayor, and as he was leaving, and requested that. After the Faith and Freedom Memorial Day service, Robert Fowler saw the mayor as he was leaving and requested a later meeting time to discuss a possible church versus state issue. He was told by the mayor before he could complete his request to, quote, take me to effing court because I don't care, and, quote, minorities will not run my city. That is why we're here today. To quote David Silverman, the president of American Atheists, sometimes things need to be said and fights need to be fought, even if they are unpopular. Minorities' point of view are often overlooked unless they are shouted. Rights are trampled unless they are protected. Equality is never granted unless it's demanded. He asked for people to stop taking the crap, and we are not taking the crap. We should all have a zero-tolerance policy towards bigotry and hate. We felt the need to call out the mayor for his bigoted remarks, and we're glad that you're here to stand in solidarity with us. We're going to try to keep this program short, so let's get this shindig started. First up, we have Jill Fitzgerald of the Omaha Atheists spokesperson and Director of Activities. Jill?
Mayor Kindig, you don't want minorities to run your city? Well, what is a minority? All the chosen heroes from our past have been in a minority. Not one social, political, or religious privilege is enjoyed today that has not been bought and paid for by the blood, tears, and suffering of the minority. 100 years ago, Emma Goldman said, an effort for progress, for enlightenment, for science, for religious, political, and economic liberty emanates from the minority and not from the mass. These words are no less true today. Unfortunately, we are still fighting for the rights of minorities. With Mayor Kindig's alienating comments, it is obvious bigotry still exists in the 21st century. From the great poet Maya Angelou, prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible. We should all know that diversity makes for a rich tapestry, and we must understand that all the threads of the tapestry are equal in value, no matter what their color. America would not be the place that it is today without minorities. Whether it is their ethnic background, religious beliefs, gender, or sexual orientation, minorities have made a difference in our lives due to their discoveries, inventions, and inspiration. Minorities, like Charles Drew, an African-American surgeon who pioneered methods of storing blood plasma for transfusion and organized the first large-scale blood bank in the United States. Minorities like Alan Turing of England, known throughout the world as the founder of computer science. Without his work, we may not have the computers we have today. Turing was arrested in 1952 because he was a homosexual, which was illegal in England at the time. His only defense during his trial was he saw nothing wrong in his actions. He was found guilty and chose the sentence of chemical castration over prison time. Minorities like Luis Miramontes, a Mexican who invented oral birth control in 1951 at the age of 26. His invention has been named as one of the most important inventions of the last 2,000 years. His name is inscribed in the U.S. Inventors Hall of Fame next to Louis Pasteur, Thomas Edison, Alexander Bell, and the Wright brothers. Minorities like Patricia Bath, who is the first African-American to complete a residency in ophthalmology and the first African-American female doctor to receive a medical patent. She invented a laser probe for cataract treatment in 1986. Minorities like Bet Graham, who in 1956 invented a quick-drying paint to cover her typing mistakes. In 1980, the liquid paper company, which Bet Graham built, was sold for over $47 million. Minorities like Marie Curie, a Polish-born French physicist famous for her work in radioactivity and who won the Nobel Prize twice. Minorities like Lakota Chief Red Cloud, born in Nebraska in 1822. He was an important figure in the 19th century land battle between Native Americans and the United States. Minorities like Thomas Edison. What school child doesn't learn about the invention of the light bulb? However, most people do not know Edison did not believe in a God. He is quoted as saying, "I have never seen the slightest scientific proof of the religious theories of heaven and hell, of future life for individuals, or for a personal God." Minorities like Morgan Freeman, celebrity, entertainer, African American, and atheist. He helped raise money for Katrina victims. He started Rock River Foundation, which has donated millions to educational programs. Minorities like Lonnie Johnson, another African American inventor. He invented the Super Soaker. His mayor of his hometown, Marietta, Georgia, declared February 25th, 1994, Lonnie G. Johnson Day in his honor, and thanks to the Super Soaker, he is a hero to kids all over the country. Their efforts and many other minorities' efforts have made our nation what it is today. If I were mayor of a town, I would love to have had any of these minorities help run it. Great ideas aren't limited to white men. Great ideas do not discriminate. Bigotry isn't born, it is taught. We need to teach everyone, young and old, that all people should be treated equally, that the color of someone's skin doesn't matter, that gender doesn't matter, that religion or lack thereof doesn't matter, that just because someone has orange and purple hair doesn't mean he or she is evil or amoral, that everyone has a voice and everyone should be heard. Mr. Mayor, we need to move past your divisive remarks. We need you to acknowledge how disparaging and marginalizing your comments were. We need you to strive towards inclusion and not ostracism. Every voice matters, no matter how loud or how soft. Every person matters, regardless of how different they may seem to you. Diversity is really the only thing we all have in common. It should be celebrated, not condemned. Minorities matter, Mr. Mayor.
And next up, we have Amanda Knief, Managing Director of American Atheists. She is a public policy and constitutional expert on religious freedom and civil liberties. She is the author of The Citizen Lobbyist, a how-to manual for making your voice heard in government. My friend, Amanda Knief.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out on a hot day. Again, my name is Amanda Knief. That's K-N-I-E-F. I'm Managing Director for American Atheists. We are headquartered in New Jersey, and I am thrilled to be here. American Atheists advocates for its members and supporters to speak to their elected officials. That is what Robert was trying to do last week when he was so viciously rebuffed by the Vista mayor. We ask our friends and our supporters to speak to their elected officials. Why would anyone, based on Robert's experience, go to their elected official and say, "I'm an atheist and I would like to speak to you," based on Robert's experience? I wouldn't if I hadn't done it already and had a positive experience. So we're here today to say that Robert has a community behind him, and that if you're an atheist, we will stand behind you. You can come out, and we expect our elected officials to honor us and represent us and talk to us in a civil tone of voice, not yell at us or say that we don't matter. It is not acceptable to treat any person or constituent the way the mayor did to Robert. I lived here in Omaha for about 2 years, back when I just got out of college, and except for an unhealthy obsession with football, I found it a great place to live. I found that the people of Nebraska are gracious, willing to listen, and they are compassionate. I hope that tomorrow, when Jill and Robert meet with the mayor, they find that the mayor is more willing to listen, more compassionate and gracious than he showed himself to be. And I hope that when we all show up at the city council meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, that we will find the city council just as receptive. I love Nebraskans. I do not love Nebraska football. But it is important that every person realize that they have a right to speak to their elected officials, and elected officials know that they have a responsibility to represent every single person in their community. Doesn't matter whether that person looks like you, worships like you, or has the same political views as you. And tomorrow we will show that this is the first step to making sure that La Vista's elected officials live up to that promise. Thank you.
That concludes our program. We would like everyone to join us in the park down the hill for Meet an Atheist event. Come and say hello to us, see that we don't eat babies much, and thank you so much for coming. Minorities Matter.